Imagine waking up one morning to find that your life savings, enough yesterday to buy a house, can now barely buy a loaf of bread. Your paycheck loses value the moment you receive it. People are carrying cash in wheelbarrows instead of wallets. This isn't a dystopian story. This is hyperinflation. And it has happened more times than most people realize. We like to think of money as stable, something we can count on. But history shows that's not always true. And the worst hyperinflations didn't just destroy bank accounts, they tore apart governments, families, and entire societies. Today you'll see exactly how 5 countries, 5 real economies, watched their currencies collapse into nothing, and what it cost their people. Germany, 1923. Let's start in Germany, 1923. The Weimar Republic was drowning in debt after World War I. The Treaty of Versailles had imposed over 132 billion gold marks in reparations, a sum that would take generations to repay. The government's solution? Print money. Lots of it. At first it seemed manageable, then prices doubled, then tripled. By November 1923, the German mark was almost worthless. A loaf of bread cost 200 billion marks. People burned cash for warmth. Children played with bricks of banknotes. Middle-class families watched lifetimes of savings disappear in weeks. And the deeper damage? It wasn't just money that collapsed. Trust did. When a society loses faith in its currency, everything breaks. Commerce, contracts, savings, salaries. This financial collapse created desperation and chaos, which extremists later exploited. Just a decade later, Adolf Hitler rose to power. Zimbabwe, 2000s. Fast forward to Zimbabwe. President Robert Mugabe's government, facing sanctions and economic isolation, seized farmland, destroying agricultural productivity. The government responded by printing money. By 2008, Zimbabwe's inflation rate was estimated at 79.6 billion%. Prices doubled every 24 hours. Banknotes grew from millions to trillions. Eventually, the government gave up and switched to foreign currencies like the US dollar. The cost? Not just numbers on paper. Pensions vanished, industries collapsed, and an entire generation was left in economic ruin. Real wealth, land, skills, tangible assets, was the only thing that survived. Hungary, 1946. Next, Hungary, 1946. Often called the worst hyperinflation in history. After World War II, the country was shattered. The government printed the pengo currency at a staggering rate. Prices doubled every 15 hours. Inflation reached 41.9 quadrillion%. The government tried new notes, milpengo, bipengo, but nothing was enough. Eventually, they replaced the currency entirely with the forint. Hungary lost everything. Middle-class savings were wiped out. Government legitimacy vanished. Hyperinflation didn't just reset the economy, it erased the past. Venezuela, 2010s. Present rich in oil, yet politically broken. Years of corruption, price controls, and reckless monetary policy turned a wealthy country into a cautionary tale. The government printed money to cover deficits and maintain control. By 2018, inflation crossed 1 million%. People had to spend their paychecks immediately before their value halved. Supermarkets were empty. Bartering returned. Skilled professionals fled the country. New banknotes with more zeros appeared repeatedly, until 6 zeros were finally removed overnight. But you can't erase the damage. Hyperinflation gutted Venezuela's economy, healthcare, and created millions of economic refugees. Once again, those with tangible assets survived, those without Didn't. Yugoslavia, 1990s. Finally, Yugoslavia. After the breakup of the Soviet bloc and a violent civil war, the economy collapsed. In 1993, inflation reached 313 million% per month. Prices doubled every 1.4 days. The government introduced new currencies repeatedly, wiping out old savings. People relied on German marks and US dollars to survive. The official currency became almost useless, good only for lighting fires or wallpapering abandoned shops. Lessons for today. The pattern repeats, crisis hits, money is printed, trust evaporates, currency collapses, society fractures. Different countries, different decades, same mistakes. You might think that's history, we're smarter now. But have we learned? Global debt levels are at record highs. Central banks have printed trillions. Inflation may seem tame for a while, until it isn't. The warning signs are there, not just in prices but in mindset. The assumption that money can be created without consequence is dangerous, the same one made in Weimar Germany, Zimbabwe, and Venezuela. What you can do. You might not control central banks, but you can control your exposure, your savings, your habits, your mindset. Real wealth isn't paper. It's purchasing power, land, skills, hard assets, and internal resilience. Trust is everything. Currencies fail when belief collapses. Inflation punishes the unprepared. It compounds fast and hits those living paycheck to paycheck hardest. Protection today means understanding the system, reducing unnecessary debt, diversifying assets, and building value that survives outside the financial system. Inflation is a hidden tax, a slow erosion of freedom, unless you guard against it. The 5 worst hyperinflations weren't random. They were caused by bad policy, war, denial, arrogance, and the lie that money can be created without consequence. Now you know better. You've seen the pattern. And the next time someone says, "That could never happen here," you'll know exactly what to say. Please subscribe and support me to keep this kind of content coming. Goodbye.